We're gonna turn this lame photo into this amazing thumbnail with these super cool glow effects. And we're gonna do it with completely free tools, no Photoshop required. Near the end of this video, I'm going to show you another free tool that I know you're going to find incredibly helpful. Also, I'm doing a giveaway right now, so watch until the end for details. Now let's get started on making this thumbnail with glow effects. All right, here we are at Photopea. Let's click on New Project, and then we'll click on Create. And before we do anything here in Photopea, let's run over to the Adobe Background Remover. It's really easy to find. Just Google it, and let's click on Upload Your Photo. So whatever photo you're using, just drag it into this window, and just like that, your background is gone. So let's download, go back to Photopea, and we'll drag that image onto the canvas. Okay, and you'll notice that there's a bounding box around this image that lets you resize and rotate. And if you accidentally hit the Enter key on your keyboard, that box goes away. So now you can move the image, but you can't resize it. And the way to get that box back is to first make sure that you have your image selected in the Layers panel on the right. Then let's go to Edit, Free Transform. This is a tool that you're going to be using a lot, so here are the keyboard shortcuts. On Windows, it's Alt-Control-T. On Mac, it's Option-Command-T. So let's use Free Transform to resize the image and put it exactly where we want it. So now we want to get rid of this MacBook Pro. This is just a placeholder. So let's go to the toolbar and click on the magic wand, click and hold, and you'll see the Object Selection tool. And the first thing we want to do with this is make sure that our feathering isn't too high. For me, it defaulted to 20 pixels, which is way too much. So we're going to set this to 2 pixels. And let's go back to the image. And we're going to use this tool to draw a box around the MacBook Pro. And it's going to get the straight edges, but we still have some areas that we need to make sure that we select. So let's use the Magic Wand tool. And if you hold the Shift key and click outside of the selection, that will expand the selection. If you want to do the opposite and use the Option or Alt key, then that's going to remove pixels from your selection. So Shift adds, Option or Alt subtracts. And this also works with the lasso tool as well. So let's use the magic wand and the lasso to refine the selection and basically select everything except for my fingers and hands. Okay, looks pretty good. Now I'm going to rename this layer to me, because that's me, and we're going to right click and rasterize. We need to rasterize before we push the delete key to get rid of the MacBook Pro. Now we need to deselect. We can go to Select, Deselect, or use Command or Control D. And now we're going to use the Erase tool. You can push the E key for the Erase tool. And we're just going to just go around and kind of clean things up and smooth out all the, the rough edges and things. Okay, now we need another set of hands. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a copy of this image. And we can just do that by doing Control-C, Control-V, standard copy and paste. On a Mac, obviously, you're going to use Command instead of Control. And let's hide the bottom copy and go to the top copy, and we're going to use the Erase tool to basically just erase everything but the hands. And while you're doing this, you can use the space bar to grab the canvas and move it around. It's really, really helpful to be able to do that. So space bar lets you grab and move. Okay, now we're going to drag in a black rectangle and a green arrow. And these are things that I made myself. I'll make them available to you for free. There's a link in the description. They're not fancy, but you can use them if you want. And so let's use the Type tool. And we're going to just add some text. You can do whatever text you want. I'm going to be recreating the thumbnail from my last video, so that's what I'm doing here. Okay, so now we're going to take all of these things that make up the sign. It's 5 layers, and you can use Control or Command G or use the Select menu, and we're going to rename this sign. And you'll see here that even though this group is selected, you can still move things around by themselves, which we don't want. So let's right-click the group, Convert to Smart Object. Now, when you do this, the text will become uneditable, but at least we can move the sign around as one unit. So let's go to the Layers panel and drag that sign down below that copy. In fact, let's just name that Hands so that we know what it is. And let's put the sign, let's select the sign layer and put that exactly where we want it. And of course, you don't have to be holding a sign. You could be holding...
Hey, what the hell?
whatever you want. So, all right, let's jump over to Leonardo for a second. I've already rendered a dark graph image, but you can use whatever you want. We just want something dark. It's going to go in the background. So here we are in Photopea again. Let's drag this image down below me and... Okay, this is Larry being funny. This is what she does, so...
LOL. Oh my god, this video is so boring.
All right, let's jump over to PNG Wing. You can use any PNG site you want. This is the one that I use. I searched for explosion, and I found a couple that I like, so I downloaded them. And
you are hilariously
all right,
small.
Whatever.
LOL.
Let's bring these explosions in. And we'll use free transform to size them and place them wherever we want. And we have another explosion, and we'll bring that in just to give the image a little bit of dimension. And so, all right, I'm going to get rid of these stupid signs that Larry made. Okay, goodbye. There's our original sign, and you know what? I want to add a sparkle to this. So I went and grabbed a sparkle from PNG Wing. Just any old sparkle will do, whatever you like. Okay, all right. I'm ignoring Larry at this point. I'm just not even going to comment on it. It's just ridiculous. All right, so this sparkle, I basically just added some glow to it, and we'll cover glow in a little bit. But, you know, sparkle is definitely optional. I think it looks nice. Okay, now we're going to add some glow behind me. So let's click on this paper icon down at the bottom. That'll give us 2 new layers. And let's make sure that those layers are behind me, because that's where we're putting the glow. So this first layer, we're going to rename this. Let's call it Back Glow Screen. And then the layer above that, we're going to rename that to Back Glow Paint. Okay, now over on the toolbar, there are these tiny little black and white squares. Click those. That'll cause the fill color to change to black. Now we want to go to the gradient tool, click and hold, get the paint bucket, and let's make sure that we have our Back Glow Screen layer selected. Click on the canvas, and there you go, it turns black. Let's change the blend mode to screen, which is why we called it Back Glow Screen. And now we're going to go to Back Glow Paint, and we're going to right click and select Clipping Mask. So that will connect that layer to the one below it. And so what we want to do now is go to the bottom, click on this round icon, and we're going to select Gradient Map. So with Gradient Map selected, we're going to get this gradient. Let's right click that, also selecting Clipping Mask. And okay, now we can see the colors that we're working with. So now let's click on this gradient icon, and we're going to change this black and white gradient into something that's more like the explosion in our background. So just double click on this gradient. We're going to get something kind of, you know, orangey, and actually if we drag our mouse pointer onto the background, it turns into a cross or a plus sign. So just click, that's like a color picker. And now we're going to choose like a really dark orange. It's basically brown at this point. So let's click OK, double click again, and we're going to choose a bright orange this time. And then let's go to the far right, click on that one, and let's get a really light orange. So now we've got this nice orange gradient, and we can close this panel by clicking on this properties icon. Okay, now let's make sure we have the Back Glow Paint layer selected. Now let's go over to the toolbar. You see little tiny arrows, click those. That will cause the fill color to change to white, which is what we want. Let's get the brush tool, or you can just push B on your keyboard. And up on top left, we can change the brush size. We want the hardness to be 0, but we want the size of the brush to be pretty big. So let's go with something like that. And we also want to change the opacity. Let's bring that down to about 50%. And we're also going to change the flow, which is how fast color is added to the screen. Let's make that about 50%. So now we're ready to start adding some glow behind me, and we can see how it kind of comes in gradually. And just, you know, kind of add glow wherever you think is appropriate. All right, now I think we need some sparks. So I went over to the PNG site and I found some sparks, and oh my god. All right, totally inappropriate, also
LOL,
not true.
LOL,
So,
LOL, LOL. Oh my god,
I know I
I'm
said
dying.
I was going to stop
LOL,
responding
LOL,
to these signs.
LOL,
but,
LOL.
ugh. All right, let's add these sparks to the image. I think we need a lot of sparks. So we can just copy and paste these sparks. We can use free transform to move them around. And so let's just add a few different layers of sparks and put them in places where we think they'll look good. And this will all be behind me, by the way. So let's choose these layers. Let's right click, convert to smart object. Now it's all one layer of sparks. Let's drag them down behind me. Okay, now let's add some motion blur, and we can do that under the filter menu. Just come down to blur, choose motion blur, and let's set the angle to the direction that the sparks look like they're moving in. I'm going to circle them here for you, and just play with the distance slider and see what you think looks good. All right, now let's add some glow around me. I know we've got the back glow, but I think we need something brighter to go around the edges. So with the image selected, let's come down here and go to the effects panel, and let's choose outer glow. So we're going to get a bunch of sliders here, and you can just kind of play around with things. I have the blend mode set to normal, and I'll put the settings up on the screen here. So you can just play around and see what works for you. Okay, now let's use this icon down at the bottom to change the hue and saturation, and a number of other things. We can also play with the exposure here. Let's add some vibrance to it. And what's next? How about brightness and contrast? I don't think we need brightness, but we definitely need some contrast. Now these adjustments that we just made, they're affecting me and the background, which I think is a bit too much. So let's select the layer that I'm on. I'm going to shift click to select the adjustments as well, right click everything, and convert to smart object. All right, so now those adjustments are affecting me only. Let's head up to the filter menu. Let's come down here to sharpen, unsharp mask, and if you see what just happened to my face, it became a lot more contrasty, a lot sharper. So just play with these sliders and see what you think works for you. If you like this effect at all, I think it looks pretty good. Okay, now I want to add a little more exposure, so I'm going to do that, and then once I'm done, I'm going to right click and make that a clipping mask so that it affects only me. And then, okay, now it's time to add the front glow. So let's add 2 more layers by clicking this paper icon down at the bottom. We'll rename them front glow screen, front glow paint, just like we did for the back glow. Oh my God.
LOL.
Larry.
LOL.
I mean, it's true, I guess. I was adopted, but yeah, that's low even for you.
Your family
Yeah.
didn't want you. LOL.
All right, what are we doing? We're doing glow. All right, let's get back into this. So let's select, oh my God. Let's select our front glow screen layer. Click those little tiny black and white squares. Our fill color changes to black. Just like before, let's get the paint bucket, click the canvas. Oy. And let's change the blend mode to screen. So this is all the same stuff that we did before for the back glow. Now we're going to change the paint layer to a clipping mask. Only this time we don't really need the gradient map because we're going to be painting with white. Now if you want to paint with a color that's not white, you can use the gradient map like we did for the back glow. But here we're painting with white, so let's use a small brush, and we want the hardness at 0, of course, but we're going to go much smaller on the brush, and we can just start painting in some white glow. Just remember that the brightest glow should be at the edge of the head or whatever you're painting, and then it gets less bright as you move inward. Okay, so just kind of paint around the edges, and if you're painting on your face, just kind of follow the contours of your jaw and whatever. Okay, now let's grab the blur tool, click and hold, and go to smudge. Let's use the smudge tool. So you can use the smudge tool. By the way, let's set the hardness of this to 0. Size, we can be kind of in the 20 to 30 range. And smudge is something that you can use to kind of move the glow around a little bit, kind of drag streaks of it out. And if you have wavy hair, then just follow the contours of your hair. It's not going to do much for my hair, okay, right here. But once we get down to my jaw and my shirt with, the wrinkles in my shoulders, then you'll really start to see where smudge is doing its thing. Okay, now I'm going to add some more glow around other parts of this image, and I'm also going to use smudge where appropriate. Okay, except for this extremely offensive sign that I'm holding, thank you, Larry,
LOL.
we need to add some text to this image. So let's head over to this website called Text Studio, and you can use any text generator that you want. This is the one that I use. The text effects that have crowns, those are the ones that are only for premium members. Everything else is free though, and some of these I really don't recommend for YouTube thumbnails, like graffiti, glitter. They're just not readable at small sizes. I already know what I want though. Let's come up here and let's just search. The text style that I want is called meme. So we're going to generate our text one word at a time. And so let's just come in here and I'm going to type in new. And you see these tabs here, we're on the text tab. Let's move over to the background tab. Let's uncheck this box. Now we have a transparent background. And now let's go to the download tab. High and maximum quality are for paying members only. We don't need that. Let's just click on PNG. Let's click on download and we're done. Okay, now let's go back to the text tab and type in my other word, which is YouTuber. So once we're done there, we don't have to go to the background tab again. We can just go straight to download and download it. And we also want an arrow. So there's an icon tab here. Let's search for arrow. And there it is, bottom right. Okay, and we can adjust the size of this arrow. We can also change the color of it by clicking on that box there. Let's change it to white. And you'll notice that there's no text here. So if we go and try to download this, it's going to tell us it seems like there's no text. So apparently we need to have some text. So let's go in there. I'm just going to add a period. And now we've got this period. We don't want the period. So let's use this horizontal offset on the icon tab. Let's use horizontal offset, make that period go, kind of far away from the arrow. And now we can download it. And then we'll be able to remove that period in Photopea. So let's go back to Photopea. I'm going, oh, okay. I'm on board with that one. Thank you, Larry. Like and subscribe.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's bring in our text. There's new, there's YouTuber, and we also have that arrow. So first thing we're going to do is we'll use free transform to arrange our new YouTuber text the way we want. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now let's take care of this arrow. So let's right-click and rasterize, grab the marquee tool, it doesn't matter if you use square or circle, and just delete, get rid of that period. And now we can add an outline to this arrow. Just come down here to the effects and select stroke, which is another word for outline, and just play with the settings, make it whatever size you want. That looks good to me. And I'm also going to add a drop shadow. Okay, there's our finished thumbnail, which I think looks amazing. So I mentioned earlier in this video that I was going to show you a tool that you absolutely need to start using. So let's hop over there right now, and I'm going to show you how it works. This website is called Thumbnail Peak. It's free to use, and as you can see right here, there are spaces for 2 different thumbnails. So I'm going to drag in, one of the thumbnails will be what we just made in Photopea. And I've also got this other one. So now, as you can see here, you can look at how your thumbnail is going to appear on YouTube. It already knows my channel name because I've used this website many times. And you just get different views of how it's going to look in the sidebar, YouTube's mobile app, and search results. Up here on the top right, you can toggle dark mode, which is awesome. And the really special feature is this whole thing right here. So let's put in a video title. I've already kind of done a dry run of this. Here's my channel name. Watch this video. Okay. And let's enter a query. So this is going to simulate a YouTube search for how to get likes on YouTube. And this is really amazing. In fact, I think this might actually be pulling from YouTube right now. So here are our thumbnails up at the top right, or top left, sorry. And down here, you'll see the thumbnails kind of sprinkled throughout. And so you can get a sense of how your thumbnail is going to look compared to others that might appear in the same search. So This is a really amazing feature, and I highly recommend using this before you actually make a decision on a thumbnail. Just make your thumbnail before you make your video, and run it through Thumbnail Peak and see how it looks. It's a really great tool. And to learn about this giveaway that I'm doing, and also to get some great tips for your own YouTube channel, watch this video next.
Here are some more signs for Michael to put in his thumbnails. My IQ is also my shoe size. I pooped my pants at the age of 43. Watch me fail at life. 2 inches isn't small.
We're done.
Gross. Get a room.